Today's daily code problem today is maximum matching of players with trainers number 2410. For this problem, we're given a zero index integer array called players, where players vi will represent the ability for the ith player. You're also given a zero index integer array called trainers, where trainers of j represents the training capacity of the jth trainer. So the ith player can match with the jth trainer if the player's ability is less than or equal to the trainer's capacity. Additionally, the ith player can be matched with at most one trainer, and the jth trainer can be matched with at most one player. So we want to return the maximum number of matchings between players and trainers to satisfy these conditions. So we could look at example 1 here. We have 3 players and 4 trainers. Well, 4 can match with 8, it can match with 5, or it can match with 8. So this player has a trainer that corresponds to his ability. And then 7 can match with either 8 or 8. So he also has a trainer that matches with his capability. 9, however, does not have a trainer that can equal or surpass his ability. So we can form 2 trainer-player connections. Therefore, our output is 2. So here's a good way how we can visualize and understand this problem. First thing we're going to do is we're going to sort both our player and our trainer array in ascending order. We'll then take each player and compare it against our trainer. One thing we'll notice is when the trainer doesn't have a match, we do not add it back to the array. We simply get rid of it. And that's because both arrays are sorted, so there will never be a match for that trainer. We'll go on and compare our players to our trainers until we eventually either run out of trainers or we run out of players. So that's how we are going to approach this problem. So again, first thing we're going to do is sort both of our arrays. So we're going to have arrays.sort our players, and we're going to arrays sort our trainers. That will sort both of them in ascending order. Next thing we're going to do is initiate a variable called matches, and this is going to count how many matches we have between players and trainers, and that is what we will return. We'll also initiate a counter called j, and the reason we're going to initiate our counter outside of, for example, a for loop is because in a for loop, j is always either going to start at the ith value or it's going to start at 0. And with the way that we're counting j, we're going to want to kind of keep it its own separate variable that doesn't ever restart. So we'll have a for, and this for loop will iterate over all of our players. So for each integer I is equal to 0, as long as our I value is less than our math.minimum, whether there's less trainers or there's less players. So we'll only traverse the math.minimum of players or trainers because, for example, if we're going to run out of trainers first, then we don't want to keep trying to match our players with non-existent trainers, and vice versa. If we run out of players, we don't want to keep matching non-existent players to trainers. Then in our for loop, we're going to initiate a while loop. So while our j value is less than trainers.length, because we're going to want to go through each trainer individually, we're going to check if the players of I is less than or equal to the trainers of j. So this is where we're going to compare their skill level. So we'll check, is the player skill level less than or equal to our trainer skill level? If so, we have found a match. So matches will increase. However, we also need to increase our j value. We need to recognize that although we made a match, this trainer is no longer on the market. So we need to take him off the market by increasing j by 1, and that will push him out of our what's it called? Our window of trainers that we're looking at in the future. We're also going to want to break because we don't want to continuously match one trainers to this one player. And then if we don't hit this if loop, we will increment j either way because that means this trainer does not have a matchable player. They are too small of a trainer to match to a player in our group. So we're going to increment j. And that's it. We can then return our matches. And this will pass all of our test cases. And it will pass all solutions. Thank you, and follow for more daily LeetCode solutions.